allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence to remember our troops and their families, and also to keep in your prayers Jane McGovern and the McGovern family. Thank you. At this time, we have a very special presentation from Circle of Friends Hidas, and we're going to have Nick sing the national anthem. Would you come forward, please? Please remain standing for our national anthem. You must face the audience. No, that's good.
Well, that's good.
Good.
Can you project without me? CD. I can't hear mine.
For a special presentation from Hidas Circle of Friends. I just wanted to say that we were so lucky to have the Circle of Friends in our lives all summer. We had wonderful dances here in the gym for our young adults that were just fantastic dancers and happy people, and we just loved having you. At this time, David is going to do a little speech for us. Okay? Unfortunately, the mayor's running late, so you're stuck with me. Okay?
You're supposed to direct it to the mayor and council, so.
Okay, go ahead. So we're good. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening. Good evening.
It's okay, Dave. We can hear you. You got a really strong voice.
Is that working?
That's working. We're gonna try.
Just say it.
Say what you'd like to say.
Okay. Good evening. Mayor Matt,
and town council.
My name is Jacob Harley. I live at,
Back up just a little bit, honey. That's good. Let's try now. Better?
yes,
Good.
thank you. 402 9th Avenue. Our organization is the Circle of Friends. Highest. My parents, Bob and Carol Capoli, started our group 18 years ago when I graduated high school. When we went to thank you for everything you have done for us, for our town. But most importantly, we want to thank you for all your support for me and my friends. I would now like to introduce my friend Pauline. She will explain how we feel. Thank you so very much.
Yes, they will.
Good evening, my, Mayor Matt, council members, and residents of Belmar. My name is Pauline Naturelli. My mom always says magic happens at the shore. For the past 2 summers, Belmar has made magic happen on Wednesday nights for myself and 50 other people. We danced, sang, made new friends, socialized, had a luau, and had fun.
We have a plaque to present to the mayor and the council, and Pauline was gonna read it, but we just wanted to show everyone our appreciation, not only to Matt and the council, but everyone that participated. All our young adults have had such a great summer, and we propose to have some very good dances here in Belmar to support our group and their families. So we just want to let you know how we feel about the council and the mayor, and how warm and welcoming the town of Belmont has been to us. So, and just Pauline wanted to say another few words. She was going to read the plaque to Matt, but Matt, I'm sorry. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
We appreciate all you have done for our circle of friends from the bottom of our heart. We want you to know that we feel so welcome here.
Oh.
I'd like to strictly mention, if any time you can get to any of their events, it's the happiest place on earth. It's wonderful. They do have a couple fundraisers each year. If you could please be generous and support them, that'd be great. And introduce yourselves to them, because they're just our special friends now. So, thank you, Bob, thank you, Carol.
All of the parents in this group are fantastic parents. So I wanted to just say that. It's supportive and there with every dance, and the Poles are very, very special.
Yes,
They are.
And no one forget about DJ J. Yes, our DJ.
And there's going to be a wonderful Halloween party soon, is that correct? And David wouldn't tell me what his costume was going to be.
October 25th.
October 25th, okay, great. 7 o'clock?
Thank you. Thank you so much, and we'll continue our collaboration because it's a very special one. Okay. At this time, is Chris Ramonzo here? Chris Ramonzo? Nope. sign the proclamation, so she can hold it. Give it to David.
Definitely read it, present this, and then I'll get it to him.
Mr. Hallman, would you come forward, please? Hello. Mr. Hallman, would you explain to us the Race to the Top program and how our Belmar School is involved in it, as we have a special proclamation of support? So I think, yes.
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 Great.
Community as well.
Yes, thank you.
Good evening. My name is David Hallman. I'm the superintendent of the Belmar Elementary School. The school is being involved in a grant with Neptune City, and Bradley Beach. We are applying for $13 million to personalize learning using mobile devices, rewiring our building, and providing professional development. Last year, there were 400 districts that applied. We made it as a finalist. They awarded it to 16 districts. We were 33rd, so we did make the top 10%, and we're going to try again this year. And so if anyone is interested in seeing the grant, it's about 800 pages. But if you're interested in knowing anything about it, please give me a call at the school or email me, and I would be happy to do that. But the way it will benefit our students is it will be an opportunity for us to personalize learning in a blended learning environment where you're using online and traditional methods for our students.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Nicolay will read the proclamation.
Yes, we are honored to give you this proclamation by the Mayor and Council supporting the Belmar Elementary School's Race to the Top. Whereas the Belmar Elementary School will be competing in the Race to the Top competition for the 2013-2014 school year. And whereas the Race to the Top competition is aimed at all classrooms and the important relationships between educators and students, and whereas the competition requires the school to create a personalized learning environment that uses collaborative database strategies and 21st century tools such as online learning platforms, computers, and mobile devices. And whereas by establishing such a program, it enables the students to graduate college and be career ready. And whereas those schools who show leadership and the vision to implement such programs will be rewarded by the U.S. Department of Education. And whereas the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Belmar know the teachers and professionals at Belmar Elementary School will create an outstanding program for their students. And whereas the Mayor and the Council support the Belmar Elementary School's desire and willingness to participate in the Race to the Top competition. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and the Council of the Borough of Belmar do hereby offer their whole support to the Belmar Elementary School for their participation in the Race to the Top competition.
We'd just like to thank the town council. I've worked in approximately, 5 or 6 school districts, and I've never worked with a town council that's so supportive of the public schools. Thank you very much.
We're very proud of you.
It's back to school night, so I have to run to the school. I'll be
Thank
there
you,
in
Mr.
10 minutes.
Ballman.
Thank you very much.
Don't get a ticket.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for stopping by. At this time, we have a workshop discussion, East Coast Brewery, microbrewery. Would you come forward and tell us your names and explain your program to us? And I'd like you to, you can kind of face us, but face the audience as well.
All right.
You're supposed to face the desk, but it makes sense to me to talk out to the group as well, so.
Sure. Good evening. My name is Joel Brudner. I'm the managing partner for a company called MB1 Capital Partners. And we're the contract purchaser for the Freedom Bakery site in town on 801 Main Street in Belmar. Tonight I'm with my partner, Chris McCallion of MB1 Capital Partners. And next to me is John Merklin, who is co-founder and head of operations for East Coast Brewery, also known as Beach House Beers. And we're also here with Tom Krzyzbrokowski, who is our head brewmaster. They're both sitting, he's sitting in the audience as well.
Would you identify yourselves? Thank you.
And we'd like to thank you for the opportunity to introduce ourselves tonight, and I understand we're going to give just a brief overview of what our intentions are with the property. MB1 Capital Partners has a financial interest in East Coast Beer Company and Beach House Beers, And we intend to convert the existing wholesale bakery operation at Friedman's Bakery upon closing of purchase of the building and convert it to a wholesale brewery operation for Beach House. And the operation will be very similar to what the bakery does in that we will be processing and packaging beer rather than baked goods for distribution. In conjunction with that, we'll also be operating a small retail outlet there where people can come and buy limited amounts of product, as well as some ancillary items such as promotional t-shirts and sweatshirts and different types of items like that. In conjunction with the brewery operation, which John will get into a little further if you'd like, we'll have some educational tours where tourists will come. We're very enthusiastic about the craft beer industry, and we'll come tour the facility, spend time in town hopefully, and we'll generate quite a bit of attraction and commerce in conjunction with our operation. With respect to the tours, the educational tours, there'll be ability to sample and do some tastings of the beverages and things like that. Things like that. The operation will be, again, very similar to what the bakery operation is. We're very excited about the opportunity that lies ahead for us potentially in Belmar. The beer company is obviously a Jersey Shore themed and founded beer company that is branded based upon the Jersey Shore, and the location here in Belmar just really is very exciting to us, and we think it's a very compatible partner for the commerce and tourist business in Belmar. We'll open up to questions, but I'd like maybe John to elaborate a little bit about the company and go from there.
Hello, once again, I'm John Merklin. I'm one of the co-founders at East Coast Beer Company, East Coast Brewing Company. I actually co-founded the company in 2007 with my high school buddy from just a couple of towns over. Raised in Brick Township, New Jersey, so was my other co-founder. Initially, we were looking in 2007. The one thing we noticed was the New Jersey brewing landscape was pretty sparse, and the Jersey Shore itself was quite anemic for an industry that's really booming and growing. There wasn't a lot of representation, so our idea was to really bring an identity, not only for New Jersey, but more importantly, the Jersey Shore. It's a place that's very close to me. I'm very happy that I can raise a family and they get to enjoy all the benefits of the shore. And really, my goal was to start a company at the shore, build something everybody could be proud of, and I was very happy to be able to do that. We started selling beer in 2010. At that time, we were only distributed in Monmouth and Ocean County. Since that time, we've built up where we have statewide distribution, and we also enjoy distribution in 5 other states. What's very cool, when we're talking about Beach House and the Jersey Shore connection, sometimes there were folks who thought, how would people perceive outside of the state or outside of the shore? Would it be negative or positive? And what's really been awesome for me is it's been extremely positive. People focus on all the positives of the shore. They draw those connections right away. We're actually down in North Carolina and South Carolina, and I was actually at the Outer Banks where our beer is being sold in North Carolina. And it was funny, folks, right? What are you doing down here? The shore is so beautiful. So I've been really happy to date. We've built a company and we've built a product that folks really enjoy. The decision to come to Belmar was actually a very easy one for us for a number of reasons. Personal connection. Spent a lot of time in Belmar growing up, still spend a good amount of time in Belmar, both personally and professionally. There's a strong argument to be made that it's the artery of the Jersey Shore. I'm one of those folks that would make that argument. It's an iconic Jersey Shore town. The bakery site is really interesting to us simply because it's a simple conversion. The process with making beer and making bread and bakery items is very, very similar. So it's the least intrusive space, least intrusive location we could find. It's also got additional benefits that's accessible to outside businesses or distributors or supply folks. It's a quick hop off and hop on from 35. Although we expect minimal trucking and shipping, it's convenient. And then quite frankly, it's an iconic building. And I had a great talk with Herb Friedman not too long ago, and kind of, think of me as a younger Friedman, hopefully for all the positives. But one of the things he talked about is he was reading about the craft beer industry, and he said, this is the next thing. And I believe that. You know, I put my neck on the line, and my family, I have a wife and 2 kids, and you know, we're all in on this. But like I said, I'm very happy to be part of the Belmar fabric, and Belmar's name is going to enjoy seeing itself in many, many other states with a product that people love and enjoy, and we're a growing company. I'd just like to point out one last thing. What's nice is we've been selling beer since 2010. We were founded in 2007. We're very proud of the charity work that we do, and we've done that from day one. In fact, we were doing charity work well before we sold our first beer, almost by a year. And since that time, we've been part of a number of programs, and one of which was the Sandy Relief Fund. Well, part of the Sandy Relief Fund, we did a rally for relief where we were donating $1 from every case of beer sold to the fund. And we were very happy that we were joined by our distributors, and a lot of folks rallied around that. And we had one specific case where somebody came into the store, not only did buy a case of beer, but they also wrote a $3,000 check. So this is the kind of impact that we hope to continue to have. And we, like I said, our last hope is maybe we rebrand Belmar Beach. We talk? No, but the beach house name would really fit. And that's kind of the short story.
I'm going to have a couple of questions, and I'll pass the questioning down the line to our other council people. Your other businesses with breweries are not in New Jersey, is that correct? Do you have any other breweries in New Jersey?
We do not. Our current model is we contract through. Just to give people an idea, we develop the recipes. Again, much of it started right out of my garage. We bring the recipes to a larger brewery in upstate New York. Basically rent brewery time and equipment. Same way Sam Adams, for a good example, got their start.
Okay.
In the last few years, we've developed market share and with a vision to create our own brewery. We're at that point now where we've been very successful marketing our beer, and it's time to really make a very, very economic investment.
Now, you said Freedman's Bakery, but not any of the other buildings along, the businesses along the line there. There's the barber shop. It's only that particular building. Will it encompass other parts of that strip?
I guess for clarification, the barber shop and the variety antique store are both components of the Freedman property.
That's what I wanted to know.
So
So it's not just the bakery.
We're acquiring the entire property, and
Okay.
it's being delivered to us vacant. So, you know, we're uncertain exactly of the exact square footage of the brewery operation and the configuration. It's somewhat premature. We're in the process of designing that now. But to answer your question, yes, it does include those
Okay.
storefronts.
What changes in the plant, the existing plant, do you see that you would have to make, and how it would impact the town?
Well, first and foremost, the visual of the building in its entirety would be aesthetically changed completely. It's something that, you know, we have a vision for our company, and it's very important to us what our image is. We certainly like what's been done across the street and some of the newer product in town, and we'd like to emulate some of those features along with the facade changes in the building. We also want to create something very prominent at the corner. It's a very prominent location. Right now, I think everyone would agree it's dated, it's an eyesore, so that's first and foremost. So the entire facade of the building would be redesigned, you know, make it concurrent with what's going on. You know, we're taking consideration as to some of the redevelopment plan suggestions that are being contemplated for Belmar and trying to incorporate them in some of our ideas. As far as inside the building, a lot of the equipment and mechanicals are dated, but the plant is functional. We're going to update everything, but essentially the interior of the building is basically going to be a lot of just remodeling.
But the area is conducive to brewery, you're saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Transformation from bakery to brewery.
It's a very similar process. I mean, you know, one is obviously liquid form, but the baking process is very similar. You're dealing with grains and
Yeah,
different types
just so
of
you know,
materials.
during Prohibition, a lot of the breweries who faced being shut down, they
Yes.
made other products, including bakery items, because it is so similar.
Okay. I have one last question. Do you see any environmental issues for the town?
Let me just, something that I wanted to get to a little bit, there is an existing environmental condition that's currently an open case that's involved from the previous owner that extends into the municipal lot. And it's something that's been dealt with for the last 20 years, but in conjunction with our contract,
Yes.
we're gonna be facilitating and making sure that that gets completed timely. It's very important to us, and it's a condition in our contract, so we're going to, make sure that that takes place, immediately. But putting that aside, and I know your question is more environmental going forward.
That's
I
correct.
think, very simply, it's a very neutrally environmental process.
Good to hear.
John could talk about that a little bit, but, the water that comes in would be treated for our process, just like it would be anywhere else, but the effluent that we'll be putting back into the sewer system, it would be neutral at worst. And in some cases, I guess we've been contacted by the sewer authority, who really is looking forward to receiving yeast ingredients in the effluent water, which actually would help their processing. But as far as aroma and everything else goes, it's very much similar to the bakery process.
Okay, I do have one more question. What is your time frame if we move forward on this? What do you foresee as the elements of time as you go down the line and moving forward?
Well, I guess the best way I can answer that is we're in a position financially, there are no contingencies for us. We're immediately going to begin the design and the implementation of the construction. We're just waiting for whatever entitlements and permitting we need from the town. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It does.
I think that, we're well capitalized. This is a vision that we've had for some time. We've been very focused on this particular site. We've passed on some other sites in nearby towns because we felt that this was ideal for us, and we thought we could be a good business partner for the town as well.
It sounds very exciting, and I support you in your efforts. I'm going to ask Councilman Bean if he has any questions for the gentleman.
Sure. It's not going to be a bar, it's just going to be a store, is that correct?
So to be very clear about it, we're gonna have, it's 95% of what that's all gonna be about is for the production. And there's a lot of cost savings to us, brewing it locally, saving on transportation. Also gives us the flexibility to brew some additional styles of beer that our current model doesn't allow because of logistical reasons. We are gonna have a retail section. We are gonna offer tours, part of this craft beer boom. It's a weird industry, I'm coming from high tech where I sold all kinds of computers and routers and gateways, and nobody cared who the engineer was behind those products. I'm now in an industry where everybody cares who you are behind a product. People want to meet, they want to shake your hand, find out your story, they want to look at Tom, maybe once or twice, but no, that's what they want, so they're going to have access to do that. There is going to be a tasting room that folks can come out after the end of the tour. They are going to be allowed to purchase some beer to sample from us. We're going to have designated hours for that. It's going to be afternoon to early evening. It gives folks a chance to kind of, we think we're going to be a real bit, we're going to be a destination for folks. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be an attraction. We're going to have a visitor center there where they're going to learn not only more about our beer, they're going to learn about everything else Belmar has to offer. We have some very neat ideas where they can find out where they're going to eat, where they're going to do some other stuff, maybe where they're going to stay. And then we're going to have a retail operation, as Joel had mentioned, t-shirts, things like that. Folks will also be allowed to buy a limited amount of product to, basically go home with 6 packs, things like that.
I think that real quick to answer your question, it's not a brew pub.
Right, that's what I'm
No
thinking.
restaurants.
It's very different. The licensing for a craft brewery doesn't allow food sales. It doesn't permit food sales, and it frowns upon any type of entertainment, come watch the ballgame here. This is not a place where people come to sit and consume it. They drink or taste in conjunction solely with the educational course.
Okay. You guys are purchasing the building, correct?
Correct.
Good. And is there any, I was told that there's a smell that puts off when you ferment.
No.
Anything?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And, if anything, yummy is the word we're using. But the truth is, the whole process when we brew on a brew date, you're looking at a 90-minute process to which there's going to be any opportunity for anything there is there. And I would say that the nose print, for lack of a better word, is very small, and that's not a concern.
Well, yeah, most of it's contained in the building. It's kind of a cereal type, bakery type smell.
Similar to what you have. with the
Welcome to
bakery.
Belmar, gentlemen.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Nicolay.
All right.
You got me at yummy. And I think you were at the Beer on the Pier 2 years ago.
Yes, definitely.
Because I know, I was there. I think there were like 20 to 30 different craft brews, and yours was the one I liked, and I have a T-shirt at home. That
All
says
right.
Beer,
Yeah, cool.
Beach House. And just so everyone knows, H-A-U-S.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. Can you just tell me quickly the states that you're in? North Carolina, South Carolina, Jersey?
Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and New York.
Okay. And you said your hours were going to be afternoon to early evening?
Well, that's for the designated tours.
Okay.
We'll have normal retail hours for the retail shop, and traditional retail hours. Brewing, it's a shift work. Yeah, the brewing process itself will just be a shift work.
5 days, 6 days, 7 days?
7 days a week.
7 days?
Sure, especially for the retail.
And I know that you had a meeting, which I think is great, with some of the local restaurants.
Yep.
Because I love that collaboration where if they're smart, they will sell their beer at their restaurants.
Sure.
Kind of a partnership.
It's been a fantastic reception. Once we had clarification of exactly what we were doing, and I think John did a tremendous job meeting individually most of the tavern and restaurant owners as well as some of the local businesses, just to explain, we're not a beer pub as everyone else may have perceived, exactly what we're doing, and that it is, the craft beer industry does promote tourism, promotes commerce, and we already have some partnerships at work with some of the local folks who already agreed to take our product, and we're working hand in hand with it.
Yeah, I think the magic words, especially we're year-round. We're going to be a year-round attraction, destination for folks. And there's plenty of studies out there. 30–40% of the folks who visit breweries are coming out of town just for that reason. We're also that added bonus that folks are contemplating which shore town am I going to go to today or this weekend or this week. The one with the brewery in town is kind of a neat thing. You can't always have an amusement park, but you can,
Will you actually advertise when you say to patrons, visitors, this place across the street has it, this, that, how does that work?
Yeah, so the plan is we'll have a visitor center, we'll even have a kiosk for folks to punch in, find out information. Some of the ideas we have expressed is, yeah, we might have a visual map, across the street is here, left, to the left, to the right. Those are for the tavern owners and restaurants, but we'd also like to branch out to other businesses. Again, folks might be coming out. They might be looking for just a cup of coffee, they might be looking for a bookstore. You don't know, people plan their day accordingly, what beach, as far as, which avenue they're gonna go down, things like that. We wanna be as informative as we can about the town as we are about our beer. It's equally important to us.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to know, is this plant going to be a distribution? Like, are you going to be distributors there?
So we will not distribute from there ourselves, but distributors will pick up product. We don't act as a distributor to state.
So you won't deliver,
We don't deliver beer.
but people will come to pick up.
We don't deliver to the retail outlets, we have distributors who their responsibility is to distribute some of the retailers and the bar owners.
Okay.
But they'll come in, take the product, once a month, perhaps, twice a month, and distribute from their warehouse facility.
Well, I have no questions, thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate it. Typically, we don't have questions from the audience.
Unless you choose
We can entertain a couple questions for the gentleman. We don't have a great deal of time, but I will allow that very quickly. The first two hands, I will, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Are you guys have any interest in doing wine bowl tours, or is it just going to be limited to the beer?
For right now, it's really all about the beer. The process with wine is not all that different, but wine is not something we're interested in as a target.
And I know that, does this require a liquor license or anything to distribute? Is that something you have to obtain?
So we have a wholesaler's permit to sell to distributors, but really all we're getting is a limited brewery license, which limits the quantity we can brew in, and some of the other things we can't do. We can't serve food, things like that.
Can I ask you to clean up that loading dock?
We're gonna do a great job.
You're working on the existing structure, correct? You're not going to build a new structure?
Yes.
That's correct.
Any interest in putting up mixed use above it or any of those types of things?
Once we figure out exactly the square footage that our needs are for the one or two other uses, that might be compatible with the building, but the structure is good. Aesthetically, it's not up to our standard.
And Councilwoman Digby, I'm going to kind of pick up on a little bit you said about the environmental. Since I heard they were coming, and the mayor kicked us off, I got on the data mining site of the DEP. Under the ground, below the building refers to two 2,000-gallon oil tanks. And when we were when we were in the lawsuit with Freedman's, the town was, with regard to the eminent domain, it came out that they're leaking, and the leaking isn't just leaching into the parking lot next door, it's also leaching into Sharp River through the underground aquifers, and so I got the data here if anybody wants to see it. Right now, there's an open permit, there was an open permit there for, they called it a soil vapor extraction system, which was essentially taking the underground fumes from the leaking tank and sending the air through the air and to wherever it's going to go to clear out those processes. If I'd like to ask the council that if this does get approved, I think it's a great idea cleaning up the corner. It's lousy, it'd be great to have that fixed. That they require you to remove the tanks, not just to remediate the tanks, because they're under the floor of the Freedman's Bakery. If it leaches into the water of Shark River, you know, is part of what's, I guess, the economy of this town, and to be friendly to the town, we'd like to see that eliminated.
I might be able to answer a little bit of that, but I'm not an environmental expert, but we've done quite a bit of due diligence on this, as you might expect. The tanks you're referring to have been abandoned, and the product's been removed, and they were sand filled in place. So there's no actual product remaining at this point. What you have is contaminated soil, and the contaminated soil, essentially because of the down gradient, has really become part of the municipal lot underneath. The cleanup action that is being taken place, the case that you referred to, and we're facilitating based upon our contract, has to get done. We're forcing the owner to do that in conjunction with the timeframes that we need, would be to take that off season, hopefully this year, and be able to replace the soil under the municipal lot, put screening in, and then the remaining soil that's under the building is very limited and is actually naturally attenuated right now. So the product has been removed. It's just the soil contamination that still exists that is stabilized in that area that's going to get removed in the next phase.
Yeah, the two ways of really removing the contaminant from the soil is you stack it out, the air gets to it, the air makes the fumes and all the product dissipate, which is essentially what that vapor system is. And the second way is to, you know, wash it with water, kind of like if they put out the dirt, they put out in the rain washes and clears up all the soil. What's gone on is the water under the aquifer has sent it down and through into the parking lot next door, and essentially, not just the parking lot, but also the soil around those tanks should be considered for removal. If you're going to be pulling out what's there and trying to work it, you should at least try to do that so that we know that we've cleaned this up thoroughly and nobody in town has to see it or smell it or hear it or feel it again.
Thank you very much. We have one, I'm going to just entertain Mr. Dilberger's question, and then the meeting is over to the mayor, because I said that already.
A couple of things here. One, when you're done, when this is all done, and you're up and running, how many people do you think you employ?
We're looking at the number 8 to 10 individuals straight away.
Per shift or
No, as an employee count.
8 to 10?
That's correct.
Will you brew all day, 24 hours?
No, not at this moment. We're talking probably three brews a week at this point based on our current production needs.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Mayor, it's all yours.
Hi, sorry for being late and leave early for you as well. We already spoke. Any questions, comments from the council?
We all ask questions, so we're very good. So good luck to you, gentlemen.
Yes, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
So that finishes workshop.
Yes.
Again, I apologize for being late. Next are petitions. Any petitions for the council from anyone in the audience? Actually, there is a petition from the council.
Mayor, I'm here on behalf of citizens group, the same group of the committee petitioners that filed the previous petition under the Faulkner Act. We have tonight a petition that we're filing under NJSA 40:49-27. That is the statute permits registered voters 15% in number based upon the number of people who voted in the most recent General Assembly election to challenge bond movements and plan to be put on the ballot to be voted on by the voters. In this case, the timing is such that We expect that it should be on the ballot for this November. And we have that to submit to the borough clerk and file with her. I have with me Joy DeSanctis. I don't know if Joy wanted to comment on it. But,
Excuse me, is the mic on?
Yeah.
Stand a little closer.
Just a petition being submitted regarding bond ordinance. So it'll be delivered to the clerk?
yeah, actually, I have received it. So I can look at there's the receipt over there. This goes on the back.
Any other petitions from mayor and council? Next are reports of mayor and council. Council President Becker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to thank everyone for their good wishes regarding the special honor bestowed on me as daughter of San Gennaro. I was thrilled with the experience, and I know that my mom and dad, Alex and Rose D'Ambrosio, were smiling down on me last weekend. Thanks also to the staff from Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield for the reward lunch last Monday. As you know, Belmar won the Boardwalk Challenge competition, a summer-long event sponsored by that agency. We received a beautiful trophy in recognition of our championship. Thanks to all who participated, but special recognition must go to Ray Claudio, our recreation director, for helping to organize the summer-long event. Please remember our health fair to be held this Sunday right here in the Borough Gym, to be held from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Screenings, flu shots, and information booths will be available. Also, the Belmar Women's Club is sponsoring a blood drive to benefit the Central Jersey Blood Center. Blood supplies are always in demand, so if you know of people who are willing to donate, please inform them of our drive on Sunday. At our Harbor Commissioners meeting on September 9th, I announced that we received a DOT iVote grant to the tune of $270,059. The funds will be applied for post-storm damages such as electrical boxes and repairs to the marina buildings and also the damages to McCleary Park. I received notification also from the Ocean Monmouth Health Alliance that we'll be receiving brochures about ovarian cancer, and I think that information will be very, very helpful to women. So they should be here shortly and will be available. Finally, I received information from Ed Donovan, a councilman from Manasquan, of a Stronger New Jersey Grant Workshop. The event will be held this Friday, September 20th. A multi-million-dollar grant program has been established to help small businesses recover from Hurricane Sandy. The program will be held at the Manasquan Municipal Building at 201 East Main Street in Manasquan. Appointments will be scheduled between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. To schedule an appointment with the business advisor, you have to call 609-858-6924. Also, Manasquan Organization of Volunteer Efforts continues to assist people suffering from the effects of Sandy. Please let me know if there's anyone who is still in need of help. Is there anybody here from the business community that could take this information about the Stronger Grant Program? I thought Tom Volker was here, but he's not here right now. No? Okay. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Colleen, FEMA, any updates, any more money come in?
No additional words since last time we met.
Okay, let's talk about the vehicles. I went through a lot of the worksheets, the work papers, the police vehicles we replaced at DPW. Were they put on any of the work
They've all
projects?
been submitted to FEMA.
Under which one?
Well, as the worksheets get finalized, there will be amendments and updates. So while there may be the worksheets that I made available online, some of those were written back in December before all costs were quantified. So we are still working with FEMA to update those worksheets.
So as of right now, none of the worksheets that are online have any of the vehicles in them.
I don't believe so, no. That doesn't mean we haven't submitted those costs and backup to FEMA. We are working with them to get the amendments done.
When will that paperwork be up online?
As soon as I can.
Okay, and also, I had noticed the percentage on a lot of these, some say 50%, 62%. Is it 90% across the board, or is it different percentages for each project that we submit?
I think the 50% and 60% refer to the amount of that project that was completed at the time of the project worksheet writing. Funding level for all of these projects is at 90%.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I as everybody I'm sure knows, we got our ethics complaints back. I have a lot of questions for Mr. DuPont, who is not here, so I'm gonna hold off on talking about it until he is at a meeting, and that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nicolay.
We start with DPW. They're busy as normal. They're putting palm trees and beach lockers. They're flushing the hydrants as a result of going back to the American Water. Just completed brush pickup and picking up leaves on streets. Had special events each week, actually, setting up and breaking down, and we've got events the rest of the month. Tree trimming and greenhouse modifications, palm trees, sorry. Removed one-way signs, and just their day-to-day activities. On to Belmar Rec. Basketball registrations are going to be held Wednesday, October 2nd in the gym, 6 to 7:30, $40 per child. And the cost for kindergarten and first grade is $20. Toddler time registration is opening November 21st. It's a Thursday from 11:30 to 1. And toddler time will be for 1 to 4-year-olds. No cost to residents and $25 to non-residents. It'll be Thursdays, 9:30 to 11 will be the actual toddler time, running from December 5th through March 13th. Belmar Elementary School, it was certainly an honor to give the proclamation to Dave Hallman and Belmar Elementary School for the Race to the Top. Tonight is their back-to-school night, starting at 6:30, so if you have children there, you're in the wrong place, such as us. Chorus began for 3rd graders up to 8th graders. They go Wednesday morning at 7:30, and the book fair is this week, which is a huge success. For Belmar Arts, the Painters Work Show runs through next Friday, the 27th. Show features 38 beautiful paintings in a variety of media. Gallery hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 1 through 5 p.m. I actually was over there and saw the show, and it's quite beautiful if you can swing by there. Call for art for the upcoming Masquerade show, their next show, inspired by the mystery of the mask. All media is welcome. Mask is the theme. Its opening reception is Saturday the 5th, October 5th from 5 to 7. They have a few more upcoming performances on September 21st. Saturday at 8, Cat London presents Wells Fargo Comedy Improv and the Temple of Boom Music Improv. Doors open at 7:30. Tickets are $5 sold at the door. And the next day, Sunday the 22nd, from 6 to 9, Musicians on a Mission will be hosting Musicians Coming Together networking event. Business card and CD swap bags, giveaways, and refreshments will be served. Admission is $5 and members are free. If you have any questions about this information, it's belmararts.org. On to the BBP. There was a meeting last night, actually. They've arranged for a series of workshops to provide continuing support to local businesses in the aftermath of Sandy. The State Economic Development Authority is working with the BBP to bring grants and loans to the businesses that suffered damage from Sandy. This includes direct grant assistance and low-interest loans. Representatives were here on September 10th and will return as needed. BBP has affiliated with another economic development group that is making low-interest loans available to any qualified business in the area, regardless of whether they suffered damage or not. These 2% loans are simple to process and have a short turnaround time. Lastly, there will be a special training session available on September 24th to promote customer service skills for local businesses. Again, any information needed for these announcements, please contact the BBP. And I do want to congratulate Claire. That was a wonderful festival and a great honor.
I certainly appreciate it. Thank you.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
I'd like to start off my report by asking our police captain, Heisman, and also director of Department of Public Works to explain why it looks like we're being invaded outside of Borough Hall. So if you guys wouldn't mind coming up and sort of sharing what goodies you've been able to bring back from the U.S. military for the residents here in Belmar.
after Sandy, we met with Mayor and then Borough Administrator Young about the loss of our vehicles, which was tremendous in Public Works and in the Police Department. Through the process of opening up the streets and trying to rescue people that needed our attention, along with first aid and the great work by the water rescue people, we just decided we had to do something about it and obviously try and keep the taxpayers' monies down. There was a program out there that we were sent to, myself and Drew, Captain Heisman, were sent to, and we learned about a LISO program, it was called, and a GSA program, where surplus military vehicles coming back from overseas, reserve units, things like that, would be made available to local municipal governments. If you remember a little while back, we had the rain and it was flooding here again afterwards, and we declared a state of emergency. The idea of declaring a state of emergency then opened up the door for us through LISO and GSA programs. It's a very long, tedious, and tough situation to get through, and I will take my hat off to Captain Heisman. He's been wonderful, spending hours and hours every day on the computer